Hi, I'm Bobby Donaldson, Professor of History at the University of South Carolina and Director of the Center for Civil Rights History and Research, and the lead scholar for Columbia SC 63, Our Story Matters. Welcome to Jubilee, and welcome to the historic Zion Baptist Church, 801 Washington Street, at the corner of Washington and Gadsden. This congregation, this church, has an extraordinary history, an extraordinary story to tell. Founded in 1865 on the corner of Richland and Marion Street, on property now occupied by the Man Simon's Cottage, the Zion Baptist Church was established. Members were originally members of the First Baptist Church in Columbia. They separated from the church following the end of the Civil War and came to this community and became an anchor of the Arsenal Hill area. Zion Baptist Church, formed in 1865, later builds a new sanctuary in 1916. This church behind me was built in 1916, serving as the largest congregation in Columbia for many decades. Within this space, the NACP met on a regular basis. Within this space, Dr. Matilda Evans established a clinic in 1930. In this space, the great NACP leader Medgar Evers spoke in 1961. In this space, the Negro Citizens Committee, led by Reverend J.P. Reeder, the pastor of this church, met on a regular basis. And in this church, on March 2nd, 1961, over 200 students from around South Carolina gathered. They departed this sanctuary and they marched downtown, demanding an end to racial segregation. When they got to the State House, they began to sing and dance on the grounds. They were arrested for disturbing the peace. Their arrest led to a landmark case called Edwards versus South Carolina, which was heard before the United States Supreme Court. And in February of 1963, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that the arrest of young people in Columbia was unconstitutional, a violation of their First and 14th rights, according to the Constitution. In March of 1963, many of those students gathered here at Zion on these steps. They were joined by their attorneys, Matthew J. Perry and Lincoln C. Jenkins. They were joined by one of their advisors, the Reverend I.D. Quincy Newman. They were here to celebrate their victory as young civil rights activists. In 1968, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. planned to come to Zion to address a Poor People's Campaign. At the time, he was in Memphis defending the rights of garbage workers. He sent a note saying, unfortunately, he could not come to Columbia on April 3rd of 1968. That was the day he gave his famous "I've been to the mountaintop" address in Memphis. On the next day, Dr. King was assassinated. And several weeks thereafter, there were memorial services honoring Dr. King here at Zion. And over the years, Zion has remained a steadfast civil rights congregation. Every year in January, the NAACP meets at Zion for a march to the State House. Zion Baptist Church, an important history and an important story that matters.